Alright, now the game that we're going to be talking about on this episode is Contra. Capital C to the O-N-T-R-A. What's that spell? Ass beating. Especially if you are a rookie. And I can say this with the utmost truth behind it. This game will fuck you sideways when you first play it, alright? Let me go ahead and tell you my tragic sob story. By the time I got my Nintendo, it was Christmas. And a lot of kids got their Nintendos by Christmas or whatever, but this was like maybe a couple of years after the Nintendo got released. You know, because the very first game that I owned was Contra, besides Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. All of my friends who were like super over fucking privileged that got the game over the summer as like a reward for advancing to the fucking second grade, they had pretty much had like close to, let's see, 6 or 7 months of experience with Contra over me. I'm a rookie to them, but of course they didn't know. But then at one lunch break, I was talking about how I was getting my ass kicked in Contra, and they were telling me what level I'm at, and I'm like, the first one. And everybody just bust out laughing at me. I'm like, what the fuck? It's a hard game. And they're laughing at me. It's like, dude. And they're not even giving me any kind of explanation of what to do. You know, they're not giving me any kind of strategy or any kind of shit like that. They're just laughing at my ass for failing at the first fucking level of Contra. And I've only had the game, for 2 weeks. You guys know how many fights I've gotten into because of this fucking game. Yeah, that's right. I was fighting my classmates because they kept making fun of me because I couldn't get past the first level in Contra. Bullshit. And they would use every opportunity that they could to bring that shit up. We're in PE. I'm trying to get picked for dodgeball. And they're like, don't pick Stan for dodgeball. He can't even get past the first level in Contra. Yeah, bastard. Ha 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 ha, wimp. I don't know if any of you guys ever shared any kind of suffering like that, but I sure as fuck did. Contra. A game that humiliated and humbled me for the very first parts of my youth. At home when I was playing the game, and from that story I just gave you, when I wasn't even playing the game, it humbled me. Now, in the meantime, so I started playing Mario Brothers, and because of that, I got fucking excellent at Mario Brothers, and then my friends will fucking laugh at me again. It's like, you can make it to the fucking final boss in Mario Brothers, and you can't even get past the first 2 levels in Contra? Do you guys know I almost got put into special ed because of this fucking game? Yes, it was that damn bad. I almost got put into special ed because of Contra, because every time my friends would fucking poke fun at me about Contra, I would get into a fight. I need to control my anger, my guidance counselor said. No, my peers need to control their fucking mouths. Now, during the course of this video, you're going to hear me flash back to times of my youth where I gotten pissed off. Now, keep this in mind, guys. I've only had the game for, at this point, like 3 weeks. And I haven't had that much Contra training. Because every time I get pissed off at the game, I take it out of fucking Nintendo and throw it across the room or some shit. At least back in my household, back in the day, the only time I could play the motherfucking Nintendo was on the weekends. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I could play the Nintendo all day, as long as I got my chores done. But Monday through Thursday, So really, if you go ahead and you do the math, I only had about a little bit over a week of Contra training. See, my friends didn't know about all that shit, and they wouldn't give me time to fucking explain because I was too busy punching them in the face. The fucking first level. Fucking bane of my fucking existence. Hated this game. But I love it now that I've gotten good. The 30 life code. Or, like what we used to say back in the day, the 30-man code. And I have to say, that shit changed my motherfucking life. I actually got to see the last damn stage in Contra, thanks to 30 life code. Before I go any further with this video, I just want to say, Courtney, I don't know if you watch YouTube or much less watch my channel. If you are watching this shit right now, I want to let you know, motherfucker, you changed my life. I want to thank you. And if I ever get rich, I want to cut you a check for $1,000. That is if I ever get rich, okay? I mean, I ain't got $1,000 right now to spend. I'm just saying, you know. Yeah, anyway, thank you, Corey. Thank you. Thank you, man. But here's the one thing I want to let everybody know who doesn't know this shit already about Contra. The spread owns every fucking thing. You hear me? If you see that little fucking balloon thing float over your head that has an S across it, you shoot that shit, and it will make your life a whole lot easier. I knew about the spread shot from the first 2 levels, of course, but I couldn't keep it, because I would always die. Now, by the time I actually made it to the later levels in Contra, I was like, what kind of a fucking island is this? Where it is like tropic one moment, then all of a sudden it's like frozen over. I mean, what the hell? I mean, I know it's a tropical island, but just because it has mountains, that doesn't necessarily mean it's supposed to be fucking snowing. What the fuck? Am I even on Earth? Now, after beating one of the easiest bosses in Contra, you end up in the energy zone, which I'm guessing this is probably the place where they gather their resources. I don't know. And when you get to this part of the game, it's like all the bad guys pull out new fucking tricks for you to look at. I mean, like the little small guys with the backpacks that usually don't fire, they can now shoot now. They can even duck, the little sons of bitches. And I'm like, motherfucker. Ugh. I hated the energy zone because like when I first got here, it took me so long to get past a certain spot in the energy zone because I did not want to die, but you know, because I forgot that, you know, I used the 30-man code, so I can actually die. It's okay for me to die, but you know, when you respawn, you usually respawn in the place that you won't want to respawn at. So that's why I didn't want to die in certain areas in the energy zone. Because sometimes if you died, you would end up in a worse position than you already were. I mean, really, look at this shit, man. Come on. Tell me a safe place where you can respawn. Exactly, there isn't none. Now, I knew that I was getting close to some fucking danger when the damn color scheme turned from fucking green to purple. I was like, oh shit. What kind of a crazy ass boss are they gonna throw at me now? And then they throw this fucking jumping bastard here. This dude is fucking huge. And he looks a lot like the damn boss that was in Double Dragon 2. Actually, maybe I should say the first boss from Double Dragon 2 to Revenge actually looks a lot like this guy. He was a pain in the fucking ass to beat too. Good lord, I was so glad when I got past him. This motherfucker made me lose my spread shot. I'm like, son of a bitch. Ugh, the hangar zone. When you got to this level of the fucking game, you just knew that they were no longer fucking around with you. I mean, really, their intent was to stop you at every fucking turn. I mean, look at this shit that you have to deal with. Oh my god. It's a good thing there was no time limit in this game, because I swear I probably would have lost about 15 lives at this stage alone. The one saving grace to this game is that the boss was not that difficult, especially if you had the spread shot. I mean, considering you had to go through hell and high water, fire and fucking flood just to get here, they at least threw you some sort of a bone. Someone tell me, what sort of a hangar you know has this shit in it? Okay, it's obvious that the guys who created Contra were heavily influenced by a lot of action flicks from the 80s. If you don't believe me, look at the first mid-boss that you meet up with. Too bad there are no power loaders in this game that you can hop into to make short work of that motherfucker. Then as you progress through the level, you see little face huggers start crawling around trying to hop on you. They don't lay eggs on you or anything, they just hop on you and then you die. So after you get past that shit, you have to fight an alien heart. I don't know what 80s movie that references to, but I'm pretty sure someone will tell me in the comments below. Feel free. And after you finally beat that monstrosity, that's it. You watch the island explode, and then they say
Congratulations, you destroyed the vile Red Falcon and saved the universe. Consider yourself a hero. And that's it. That's it. They roll the credits, they show all the people who were behind it, and then you have the option to continue playing. But at this point in my illustrious Contra career, I was happy to put that fucking controller down. Despite my rough start, I have to say, Contra is an excellent old school classic game. I love it now, but before, I hated it. And that's the reason why it is on Video Game Brutality. Alright, if you have any harsh and punishing and slightly traumatizing experiences with Contra, feel free to leave a comment, vote and subscribe, and tell me all about it. It makes me feel good to know that I wasn't the only one that sucked at Contra. Anyway, I'm Stan. That's all for now.